This is the creepiest horror movie I've seen. Every frame sends shivers down your spine. It uses voodoo dolls, curses, and shamans to create an eerie atmosphere. I highly recommend watching it with friends who love a good scare. The story begins with a woman holding a creepy doll, covered in blood, standing on a bridge. Her eyes show despair as she jumps into the river without hesitation. Soon after, a girl named Songmei comes to play by the river, and the floating doll catches her attention. Curious, she eagerly tries to retrieve it, but a ghostly hand pulls her into the water. By the time her mother realizes something is wrong, it's too late. Only Songmei's shoes remain on the riverbank. The police search, but a week goes by with no news of her. Just as they are about to hold a funeral for her, that day, a breakthrough finally came. Old Wang brought a pot of saffron to Songmei's father, saying that placing an egg on it would grant his wish. Skeptical but hopeful, Songmei's father tried it, and miraculously, Songmei's body was found the next day. Her uncle rushed to the hospital to identify the body. But when he opened the door, Songmei, who had drowned, was miraculously alive. Her face was pale, and she was soaked. Overwhelmed, her uncle quickly took her to her family. But from then on, strange things started happening. The once lively Songmei became silent and withdrawn. Her sister Xiaomei tried to get close, but Songmei pushed her away. Suddenly, Songmei's arm twitched, white smoke rose from her neck, leaving a burn mark. The odd events continued. At night, Songmei's body convulsed, and a scratch appeared on her arm. Her parents thought she encountered something evil and took her to a shaman overnight. Songmei stared at the ceiling as her body turned grayish-brown. The determined shaman pricked her tongue with a hairpin, mixing her blood with water and forcing it into Songmei's mouth. The entity within Songmei became agitated and screamed before fainting. Her parents anxiously inquired with the shaman, who solemnly stated the exorcism failed. It was not an evil spirit but a living person's soul attached to Songmei. To resolve this, they need to find the living person's body. Xiaomei, eager to assist her sister, went to the hospital housing Songmei's body. It turned out that on the day Songmei was found, the police also discovered 2 other female bodies. They shared a common trait with Songmei, a mark on their necks. 3 bodies were found on Man-Fish Island, said to be shrouded in dark energy and cursed by the Grim Reaper. Xiaomei bravely ventured to Man-Fish Island to uncover the truth, where she found a wooden cabin. Upon entering, a strange woman appeared behind Xiaomei, caressing her face. After a short chat, Xiaomei recognized her as Aunt Lan, the deceased's mother. Aunt Lan, unable to cope with her daughter's loss, lost her sanity. She first confused Xiaomei for her daughter, then grabbed a knife, demanding to know her daughter's whereabouts. Xiaomei was too scared to move, but at the last moment, Aunt Lan regained her senses. After calming her down, Xiaomei asked about the mark in the picture, but Aunt Lan avoided the topic and left the room. Xiaomei had no choice but to stay the night. Late at night, Aunt Lan began shouting, repeatedly saying, "Return me to my origin." Xiaomei was confused and didn't notice the ghostly figure emerging from the water behind her, leaving wet footprints as it approached Aunt Lan, pointing at her as if to force her to tell Xiaomei the truth. The ghost was named Zhen, who at 14 was knocked out and sold to a brothel. The mark on her neck came from that time. She eventually became pregnant and barely escaped to this village. Aunt Lan took her in, and she gave birth to a daughter. Aunt Lan's daughter also ended up in the same brothel, where they became friends. That night, the brothel's thugs came searching for them. During the struggle, they killed Aunt Lan's daughter and took Zhen's daughter away. Returning home to find her daughter dead, Aunt Lan blamed Zhen. Overwhelmed, Zhen chose to drown herself, believing true revenge could only start as a ghost. After learning the truth, Xiaomei boarded a bus to go home, unaware that the ghost had attached itself to her. Once home, Xiaomei was possessed. She went to Songmei's father's study, took an old CD from the safe, and just then, Songmei's mother passed by, shocked. Before she could react, the ghost lunged and possessed her, revealing itself and pointing at Songmei's father's forehead, saying, "You were hard to find. I recognize you despite your changes. I can smell your stench through the screen." Then, Songmei's mother convulsed, water gushing from her mouth. She was dead quickly. The ghost aimed to kill all, inflicting true suffering on Songmei's father. Soon, it possessed Songmei and confronted her father. Before finishing its speech, Songmei's father knocked it out. He now knew whose soul possessed Songmei. He took the shaman to the brothel and found the boss. After a brief conversation, the boss led them to a girl's room. Zhen's daughter was the girl. The shaman touched her and saw the entire story. Songmei's father was in league with them. Exorcise Songmei. After a fiery ritual, Songmei's complexion returned to normal. But unexpectedly, a tattooed man pulled the paper from Songmei's mouth and the ghost possessed her again. Meanwhile, Xiaomei at home slowly woke up and saw the CD on the table. She played it and found it was a video of Songmei's father assaulting Zhen. Songmei's father rushed home with his daughter, but no matter how he called, There was no response. Xiao Mei then told him that Song Mei had died when she was pulled underwater. Her revival was due to A Zhen's daughter's soul inside her. Hearing this, Song Mei's father's face darkened. He thought if he killed A Zhen's daughter, her soul would attach to his daughter, and she would live again. Whose soul it was didn't matter. Just as Song Mei's father was about to act, Xiao Mei grabbed something and killed him. The villain got his due. The ending was abrupt, but the ghost's revenge continued.